All right, guys, we'll get started here in about 2 minutes. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. It was a long weekend, but it was fun. So much fun. Man, I think I moved to the right neighborhood. All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. So we're about 2 minutes early here. We'll go ahead and get started. A few things here. We're going to go over the ES futures, and then we're going to look at a couple focus trades. Before we get started here, I will tell you we are looking at other trade plans as well, and I have those in the background. I'm looking at some FDX, monitoring my current positions. AAL is definitely on my list to probably add into if we get above some certain levels, and I'll go over that here in a minute. I'm looking at some Piton in the background. I'm watching Apple just to kind of see what it can do as far as tech is concerned. Looking at Amazon, also John Deere, DE looks really strong. I'll be monitoring that today. And then an MSI Motorola. And then STX, I'm not even sure what that is, but it looked good. It came up on my scanner. And then I am looking at Etsy. And then as you can see right here, we are looking at AMD and CRWD right now. All right, AMD and CRWD. All right, and then also for you long-term traders, I went ahead and added two names today. So please make sure you go over and check out the long term. And I put a little bit of narrative in there as well with some help from a good friend of mine. And I like the chart. So remember, charts are always first for me. All right. And then we look at the narrative here for those long-term charts. Okay. So again, check those out. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with the ES. So what are we looking at? We went over the monthly and the weekly live yesterday. And as we open up this morning, you can see on the 2 hour, I'm looking at a 2 hour and a 4 hour. We're just basically, take your attention over here to the left, we are sideways. All right, we're holding that 9 EMA. It's holding that first target of ours at 33.58 and 3/4. You can see, okay, we're just holding in between here, this pattern between 33.66 and 33.58. Basically, we are neutral right now. We have the trendy edges. Let's go ahead and show you those. Trendy edge here and a trendy edge there. This is resistance, okay, until it's not, and this is support. Basically, we're about 3/4 of the way up there, so we'd be considered higher on the curve. We've gapped up about 20 points or so, and we're gapping up into some minor resistance. So please keep that in mind. It's going to be really important if we start to go bid here. Again, need to take out this pivot high from last night. If we can hold the 33.66 level, let's just call it 67 level, then I'll be looking for that move into the trendy edge at or around 33.76 and a quarter. There, I do expect resistance. But if we can build and make higher highs, I'm looking for the next targets at 33.86 and 33.96 into our upper target. If we close out here for today, I'll probably be trimming some of my longs that I do have on. I have quite a few positions on. And so I'll be looking to manage and trim in that area. I'm not saying that price can't continue up. As a matter of fact, I believe it will continue up into the ME, which is up here at 35.43. But I just want to be careful. So just like when we go shopping, when we're super hungry, we tend to fill our shopping cart way too much, right? And then once you get home and eat, you're like, why did I buy 500 bucks worth of food? It made no sense. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. If I had the opportunity to trim some of that out of my shopping cart, that's what I'm going to do. Now, far as resistance and support, if we break down below this 9 EMA, I'd be looking at, see these red arrows right here? All right, I'd be looking at about 33.46 to 33.50. The line in the sand, 3339, is exactly what it says. It is support until it's not. If for some reason we break down, we really need to hold this. All right, really need to hold that area there. If we do not hold that area today, the bears are in charge again, and we will look for the move back down into possibly 33.21. All right, so right now, sideways action. Market's looking for a little bit of catalyst, a little bit of stimulus, things like that. All right, so I gave you this pre-market, AMD. This is a strategy. Let's go ahead and go over it. These are our focus trades for today. And you can see I gave this to you about an hour, hour and a half ago. For some reason, I'm trying to look into my pre-market. I had a partial fill down here and not sure why it did not alert. I'm thinking because it was a partial fill. All right, we'll look into that more as we open up here. But what I'm looking for is for price to hold between 82.51 and 81.66. You can see pre-market it's come down into the neutral box. It's starting to go bid here. Currently on a 4 hour, we are creating an inside and up currently. All right, we know that can change. All right, let's go ahead and draw this out so everybody can understand. If we can continue to bid, look for this. If we could take out this, I'm going to add above the 83.28. I'll bring my stops up to here, and then I'll look to continue trading into 84. Very straightforward. Starters are in this area, especially pre-market, so that way if for some reason we open up and we slam down, if I'm taken out because of a starter, it's not going to hurt at all. All right, I won't get my feelings hurt, and if things turn around for the better, then I'll just add back in if we can hold this. I want to avoid this trade if we have closes underneath the neutral on a 4 hour candle for right now. All right. And if you don't like that risk on a 4 hour, we can always change that time frame. Just make sure it is confluent with your risk tolerance. Okay, and you can see the 2 hour 9 EMA is confluent with my neutral box. All right, it's a little too tight, and that's why I like the 4 hour. We do have a gap fill down here at around 81.43, so I want to make something very clear. If I'm watching a 4 hour, let's just say I have starters on here. Again, I'm not emotional, just a starter position. It comes down. It's still a 4 hour candle. Hasn't closed yet. Comes in the gap fill. I can add here, okay, on the dip, but then I'm going to make my stop really tight, and I'd really like to see this hold in here. Okay, if I add here and things work out on the gap fill, have more shares, better cost basis, and then I'll add again here. All right, that's what I'm looking at on AMD. Now I'm going to bring that over here on the bigger screen just so you can see a little bit bigger time frame. Let's go into the weekly. All right, so this is AMD on the weekly. Nice rounding formation here. You can see it right there. All right, we have this topping wick, so we're going to have selling pressure in here. We have a trendy edge here around 91.97. You can see that the indicators have worked really well. Okay, so we just kind of stalled out there. And if we can build value on AMD above the decelerator and above this blue line, then we set ourselves up for an ACDC. ACDC is just like this. ACDC equals ME. So as long as price can hold these arrows in here, I'm looking for price to move into and or around $91. Okay, plain and simple. So how do I want to approach it on a longer time frame? Well, this is shorter time frame for entry. This over here on long term is I'm looking for, do I want to hold it for the weekly? That's $77. We're at 81. That's not bad for a risk. So as long as price can hold this weekly 9 EMA, I'm happy to swing it to the upside into 91.97. Okay. If you want to tighten it up just a tad more, I'm going to go ahead and show you that on the daily. All right. Currently, we have this topping wick here, a little bit of selling pressure. And if, we open up here and we break below the neutral, then we're looking at the 9 EMA on the daily. Okay. So you kind of pick your poison. All right, everybody. So please understand entry, starters, pull back into the gap fill, add. Right here, notice that the 9 EMA on the daily is also confluent just underneath this gap fill on the 2 hour. All right. So this whole area, we can start to go bid in here. So pull back, don't be scared of it. Let's just see how this is going to react. Remember, starter positions really keep your emotions in check. You don't have to have an ego. We can add on a confirmation. Confirmation looks a lot like this. I buy some, it moves up, I put a stop, it comes back down, it holds. Man, I'm doing really well. 84, I can trim or I can add in again. It's up to me. I bring the stops up to every one of my lines just underneath it, not right to it, but wherever my risk tolerance is. Okay, we just kind of follow the trend right back up. All right, let's get into crowd. So again, stay patient, about 30 minutes to an hour on open. If I buy before 30 minutes to an hour, then I am starting a position, nice and small. All right, and then I add on confirmation. Let's go ahead and look at CRWD. And you can see that over here. This is on a 4-hour chart. I'm going to go ahead and show you on a weekly. All right, so I mean, to me, it feels a little extended. Check out your 9 EMA. It's coming down here at around 124.69. It's gapped up a little bit here, about $4 or so. It is close to resistance. Listen, I've said this plenty of times, and if you're following me, my edges, the edges to the upside are identifying supply and or resistance. So if we are gapping into these, you want to be careful. Also, if you're gapping close to them, current price is about 144, and this price is 148, that's letting me know that I only have about $4 to the upside. All right. So I got to really figure out, like, is my risk to reward here? Because with my methodology, I'm considering this area to be resistance. All right. Got to follow that process over and over. So over here, you can see on a 4-hour, okay, the 9 EMA is lined up with my neutral strategy at 141. And again, current price is 144. Now, I personally would rather get long around the 141 area or in this yellow box because it gives me more reward to the upside into 148.82. All right, I think everybody understands that. So how can I approach this? Well, if I feel FOMO, that's okay. I can start, okay? Just a starter position. I don't know what that means for you. If usually you do 3 contracts, maybe you only do one. Maybe sometimes you do 500 shares, maybe you only do 100. And if we pull back into the neutral box, then I can add another 100. So I'm still at 200. I'm still not at full allocation. And then if it starts to proceed and take out the pre-market highs, then I get some confirmation. I can add into the trade, and then I can trim and or sell at 148.44. Don't be scared of pullbacks. This is the clearance rack, right? That's how I look at it. This is the sell rack. So you're buying, you're paying up price, it comes back. For some reason, people get scared. But imagine your favorite thing that you like to buy, and imagine they're putting it on sale. That's what this is. Shop at the clearance rack. Try not to go and pay for something right when it comes out because it's all shiny and new. All right. I can tell you from experience, it's not the best thing to do. All right, so CRWD, let's break it down into the daily now. All right, so here's the daily. I really like the daily on this because the 9 EMA is confluent with the bottom of my neutral strategy. All right, so really, if you want to make this a swing trade, what I'd really like to see is void underneath the 9 and underneath the neutral. Okay, right here. Again, confluent with the 9 EMA. I like this. So this would be more like, 1 to 5 days, right, for a trade setup, 1 to 5 days. And what this means is I have to wait for the day candle to close. So many times traders wait for this to touch and they're like, I'm out. It dips a tad and then ends up like this. All right. So again, for me, I wait for my candles to close. Yes, I understand that could be a big difference, but that's my trading go-to. All right, so we're going to stay in this trade as long as the daily holds or the neutral bottom breaks. All right, very straightforward. Now, far as options, I make it really simple. Somewhere between, I say 30, but I like the 40 now a little bit more. But for traders who, they're like, man, the 40 and 50 deltas are a little too expensive. All right, and if you don't know what that means, please go to your option chain and make sure you have delta put on there. Very simple. So somewhere between delta 40 and 50s is what I like, whether I'm trading to the upside or downside. And shares, obviously, I use my strategy. I just buy at market. Okay, very straightforward. All right, so besides CRWD, AMD, and looking at the ES, what would you guys like to take a look at this morning? All right, so Nav wants to check out Facebook. Let's go ahead and do that. Can you please let me know if you want to look at a chart? Are you talking just on the intraday? Are we talking for the weekly? What would you like to know? All right, so they got an ER October 23, so be looking for possible run up into ER. So Nav is looking for something, around 23 October. Same thing, rest of the market, nice rounding bottom here. You see the edges are holding so far. All right, we did already have some targets on here. You can see we hit our target at 268.14. I think that was last week. It has not got into the accelerator, decelerator, or the AC/DC. You do have some supply up here, okay? And so very important to see that as well. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and draw on here really quick. Control 2. I want to make this red. So we have some supply right in here. Price left this, has not made it up to supply. Basically, that's the supply and demand look of it. Round and bottom, these are targets, and this is how I want to approach this. We're at 261, okay? And if we can break and stay above this EMA on the weekly, then that's where this is going to be my line in the sand, Nav. Okay, as long as we can hold this 9 EMA, man, then we're looking for those same targets: 263.47, 268.14, 269.30, and then above that, if we can hold the AC/DC, then you understand what we're looking for: a move into the 296.88 area. Okay, everybody got that? It's clear as mud, right? Speaking of clear, we have a pool. We didn't look at it for a couple days, right? We just moved into here. And yesterday, oh man, it needs a shock treatment. Who's a pool owner? Not fun. I knew I wouldn't like this. I'm like, honey, I gotta look at charts, right? Is it? Nice. Good. Well, Nav can't be the only person looking for a chart today. So let's go ahead and look at a couple more things here. So there's Facebook. All right, pretty straightforward. All right, got some AAL here. I did trim before close on Monday, or sorry, on Friday, and this chart looks really nice. I mean, it's gaining some traction. I think there was a stimulus or something out there for airlines. It's in a sideways trend. It really gets going over this 1385 area. Okay, so over 1385, looking for 1509 coming up to this next pivot, and then upwards at around 1660. So that's really what I'm looking for. It's a very nice move here, potentially in AAL. I'm not really concerned about it unless it breaks down below 1155. That's the long-term look. So if we could stay above 1155, things are looking really good into that $15 to $16 range. All right. All right, let's take a look at Apple really quick. All right, so Apple, what's interesting here is we're only up about $1. Markets are gapped up, 20 plus points. To me, that's pretty weak action on Apple, but I'm not looking too much into it. Okay, so I was training somebody last night, and you can see I got some notes on here. All right, so let's move that out of the way. Same thing, rounding bottom, came up to the decelerator, so far rejection. Our next, the bulls are in control, guys, basically across all these formations that I'm showing you. If we can break above the decelerator and hold that bad boy, guess what? We're making that move, baby. Making that move up to the accelerator and then potentially into the ME. And again, not concerned about anything unless we start to break down underneath the bottom edges. Okay? Very straightforward. Try to stay away from the news. There's going to be a lot of crap out there. All right. Just trade what you see here on the charts. All right. So far as Apple is concerned, I bought on Friday. You guys saw that. I did that live. I closed the shares, still have the contract, and we'll leave that on as long as we're holding above these here. All right. And AMD looks like it's working from the neutral. So, that's looking good. And let's get over here into SGen. Just some member request here. So just paying attention to them. We have about 13 minutes or so. All right, so SGen, you can see this. Um, I haven't looked at this in quite some time, but you can see the blueprint worked out really well. Let's go ahead and clear the drawing set there. And this one's going to be quite easy. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it looks like weak, all-time high. We're going to have to use a Fibonacci extension. I'm going to take the most recent range. And I'm going to go ahead, double click right there. We're going to get some targets to the 23 and the 50. And then I'm going to erase this. Okay. And then we're going to use the trendy edge sand. And I'm also going to measure from the gap fill into this pivot high. And I'm going to get myself a nice little neutral coming right into, what is the ATR on this? $13. We're trading at 193. Yeah, so I don't want to be much more than that. And we're going to come right down right before and right after. And there you go. I mean, that is the blueprint for SGEN. Okay. And so since I'm not trading this and it's not part of my trade plan, and you asked, I'll just kind of throw that in there really quick. All right. So there it is in the room. All right. You guys are asking too many right now. B Daddy, Pexi, come on, man. One at a time. All right. Okay. All right, so we're at 3152. This is our blueprint for this weekend. Also threw this out on Twitter this. All right, and let's look where we are. So we're above the neutral. The same moves, big time. Weekly ATR is around 217 or so. All right, same thing, rounding bottom. We are potentially creating an inside and up. Well, we already have, really. We just had that down pressure from on Friday. And the question is, do we just kind of hook around, right? We call it the hook. This is called the hook, all right? Or you can call it a round bottom. You can call it whatever you want. But what I'm looking for, all right, is if we can build into this wick, all right? And really that's the big deal. If we can build into this wick and take over this high and get in the ACDC, then we really have a high probability of hitting the trendy edge, okay? I'm letting this get away from me over here. I should have already this pre-market on a star. I'll probably check out contracts on this just so everybody knows, all right? So contracts on this. And again, my target up here is around 149. 150. So on Amazon, let's take it down into 5 minutes. So they're looking for intraday. Okay, we're going to use the scripts that we have. Line in the sand. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and measure right from, I'm not going to use that though. I'm going to use this here. So the biggest thing, just remember these levels if you ask for them, dope. You see right here. Basically, you want bulls to hold the 3142 level, 3142. All right. And then what you're going to do is look up and to the left, all right, and identify this nice region here. And this would be an ad for me above 3160. And then looking for 3173 and again 3223. All right. So that's kind of intraday look. All right. So really that falls in line if you just use a 30-minute to 1 hour 9 EMA. All right. That's funny, B Daddy. You were right, man. You were right. Nav, you only get one. Nav thinks he's slick, right? That's funny. All right, Square. And I believe Shea is in this, yeah. He's been holding on to this thing, man, making some serious cash here. Um, and that's a great example, folks. You don't have to trade a lot of charts. I mean, you can just be in one chart and put the same amount of money that you have in 10 other names and just ride this thing using the methodology and make money. All right. So here we are. This is what it looks like on a daily. I think this is important. Prices at 173. This blue liner, 171.05. This was the previous high. If it can hold 171.05, look for 174.02 and then 177.11. If I take it over here in 4 hour, we've already hit my target 174.02. Okay. So what does that mean? Anybody know? pretty simple. Take a box, put it in this blue line and my target. This is going to be your neutral. Don't do anything. If it pulls back into this gap fill at or around this 9 EMA on the 4 hour, this is most likely a really nice buying opportunity. On a reclaim, I would convicted to add into this, and if we can break back over 174.0, then I'm convicted to ride it into the 177 level. I know he's looking for 180, nice round number. All right, and if we break 180, probabilities going to 2 probably pretty high, especially if we get some sort of stimulus catalyst in the market. Okay. All right, so beyond. Let me just go over this really quick, Pexi. So beyond, I have a DTE, date till expiration, of 5 and 12. All right, so I have some spreads on this. The 5, we really need it. We need 180 plus. All right, and so we already trimmed that last week. And then on the 12 days expiration, I need 170. All right, so let's look and see what we're at. We're at 168. All right, we're kind of sideways action, like some of these things. All right, and we need to break over the 170.46 and hold that, right? Over 170.46 and over this selling pressure here, we open our way into 176.94 and then 183.74. Okay. The ME needs to hold. The 4 hour 9 EMA needs to hold. That means if it breaks down on the 4 hour, I'm not really concerned. 4 hours start to close underneath the 9. My only concern on beyond is if it continues to break down underneath the 9 EMA. I pointed this out last week, this chaotic candle here. Okay. It might want to bring back into this level, potentially. Okay. We'll see how it works out. All right, a couple other ones I want to go over just really quick, and I'll try to get to some of your stuff, but we are opening up in 5 minutes, so I need to get to some of the meat and potatoes here. Microsoft, I have a DTE of I need over 213 on that particular spread. Amazon, I put in some, I wouldn't call them lottos, but they were out of the money quite some distance. I'm looking at DTE of 5 days. We need 200 points. So is it possible? Yes, for sure. It's a long shot though. CRM, DTE, 5 days. I may buy more time. Okay, I may buy more time. Needs 270. Zynga, we already made money on that. I basically rolled a bit more time. DTE is 12. I need 9.47. All right, 9.47. Let's take a quick look at that. And we're trading at around 9 by 939. All right, so the target is 971 on that. And then the AL, I went over that earlier. I need 1342. My target is 1383. Apple, my DTE is 26 days out. I bought that on Friday. You guys could see that when I was live there. And I need 117. All right, so pretty straightforward. I'm really excited about this week. I think that on Mondays, you really have to just kind of, be patient. Just stay patient. Let them work out the cobwebs, as you would say, early in the morning, 30 minutes to an hour. Go ahead and go over here to the ES futures. Okay, another 20 points. And really, price is done, jack, right? Just sideways action. We're going to go to a 5 minute on open, and we're going to use the script, the PMZ. And you can see the PMZ is popping up right here. PMZ risk is only 1.45. Price is underneath the PMZ. And we're going to do this right here. And for some reason, my chat's not working. What's up with that? Chat's broken on my OBS software. Maybe I just need to close it down and restart it. RJR. Good luck, everyone. All right, and then on my share trades, my longer term trades, again, I added some new setups there. Please take a look at those when you get an opportunity. And remember on those, I'm not too concerned about perfect entry. Those are so long term. I'm looking at monthly charts, folks, on those longer term trades. Okay. All right, so what we want to watch for over here is the PMZ. Can we break above and hold? Risk right now is 1.5 points. Okay, there we go to AMD. Well, pretty nicely already on a couple of our long share ideas here. And you can see AMD right there. Let's see if I can add into this. Again, for some reason, I don't know if it's because I was partially filled, but it was unable to alert this morning on the pre-market. I'm not sure why. AAL is also up really nicely here at about 40%. Now I have different expirations, so please pay attention to which ones I am trimming. All right. All right, look to go long above the PMZ and short below, and you can see we hit our target.